This is my 2006 Legacy 2.5 GT. It is a Canadian car, not USDM or a JDM. This is a Canadian car that's lived its life in Western Canada. I've had the car for a little while now. I've put some miles on it. I've been pretty strict with maintenance and repairing stuff that needs to be done. I'll get into that once I explain the mechanical side of things. Just gonna go over the car and kind of show you what's what with it. A little bit easier to see in advance when you're looking at a car for sale on a video than it is just pictures. And yeah, I'll start with the body. So the body, it's 268,000 K on it. There's no rust showing, minus a tiny little bit starting just in the arch. It's not spread anywhere. It's not showing on the outside. There's a few blemishes here and there. Like I said, it's 268,000 K and it's a 2006. I gave it a polish. Turned out pretty nice. It's nothing too crazy. There's some rock chips on the hood. Newer windshield I've just put in. There's a tiny chip over on the other side there. I've touched up some of the rock chips just to prevent any like rust or oxidation from forming. It's not that they're perfect, but it's better than it just being exposed to the elements. I put it on the Steelies. I wanted to keep the sleeper vibe going. It's got some pinstriping on the sides. And it looks like it's a daily driver. It just doesn't really look too alarming at all. It's got some Coopers on it, ton of tread on them still. They're not high performance by any means, but they're good enough for what I'm doing. The only thing that kind of gives it away is the exhaust, which is a Stromung catback. It's got the quad tips, melted bumper a little bit. It's catless, so it's got the black staining on the bumper. There's a little bit of wear and tear on the bumper here. It's a plastic bumper, so it hasn't rusted or anything. It just needs to be resprayed. There's a couple other scratches that I couldn't quite dig out or didn't feel safe digging out, but it's got the roof rack. Looks like a normal daily driver minus the exhaust, like I said, and that's kind of the vibe that I was going for aesthetically. Little tiny bit of rust forming on this one as well, but nothing too serious. Otherwise, it's in pretty good shape. Still has a pretty good shine to it. A lot of clarity in the paint. Headlights are in okay shape still. That's kind of it for the exterior. There's no real mods done to the exterior minus the suspension. It's on KW version 2 coilovers that were installed from a previous owner before in BC. It's got some white line Max C top hats on the front, some like stainless braided lines in the front, some poly bushings on the lower control arms, some power stop, whatchamacallit, drilled and slotted rotors in behind the freaking Steelies here. Kind of hidden, but they're there. New pads with that as well. Still rides really nice. However, the coilovers are getting a little tired. Bushings in the back on the rear coils are a little tired, and then the front ones are just starting to squeak. But honestly, they've been on here for quite a while, according to the records, and could use a replacing. But I just didn't feel like dishing out replacements for KWs. That's just a little bit out of my budget. So yeah, otherwise it's pretty unassuming. No tint, nothing crazy. It's got the roof racks, like I said. It's just a normal looking Legacy. Interior, we've got the usual kind of wear and tear, nothing too bad. There's no major tears in any of the seats. All the seats are in okay shape. The steering wheel has definitely got some fading on it, which I've looked on the internet and seems to be a common thing even on the replacements that I could find. Otherwise, it all works. Stereo works. We've got some Defi oil pressure and boost gauges. I have another set of Legacy floor mats that can go in here that are not the rubber ones. Got heated seats. Got the paddle shift on the steering wheel on both sides, which works when you put it into sport mode here. I'll just start it up, just give you an idea of what it's like so you can hear it. The fuel pump cycle. I'll show the oil pressure just so you guys get an idea of what's going on. Turn that down so you can hear. All right. The car is warm already. Idles at between 30 and 40 pounds of oil pressure at idle when warm. Cruises at about 75 to 85. It's been really consistent. I'm really religious on the oil changes. Always had T6 in it. No check engine lights. Idle's really smooth. I recently just did thermostat, an OEM thermostat, and OEM blue coolant from Subaru. I might as well pop the hood and explain there too. I've kind of done a bunch of maintenance, and in relation to all the mods that are done to the car, just give me a second. All right, here's engine bay. Kept it pretty clean, no major leaks, there's nothing underneath. And in terms of engine mods, it's got a fair bit. I recently replaced the Deechworks 740cc injectors. The old ones were getting tired, so I put some new ones in. It's got an AVO top mount, AVO intake, a Crawford air oil separator, Perrin lightweight pulley, Blausch 18G, Rocket Racing 3-inch downpipe, STP, I think that is, turbo blanket, runs mint. Since owning the car, I've had timing belt, all idlers pulleys, water pump, AVCS seals, cam seals, front main seal. I've replaced the coils, spark plugs. I've had the valve lash checked as well. I had valve cover seals as well replaced. Runs mint now after replacing the injectors. It has a little tiny stumble off idle while starting to go somewhere, which I think is in regards to the old tune. It's got a coil rad as well, aluminum radiator. Like I said, new fresh coolant in it. T6 was always put in it. The transmission has an ITP valve body in it, which makes this thing shift pretty fucking crispy. Well, pardon my French, but it shifts really nice for an automatic Subaru. It's actually pretty fun to drive. It's got a Walbro 255 pump in the back. One issue here is this door doesn't open from the outside. It fell off inside the door and I just didn't replace it. I did everything else mechanical, but I didn't bother with the door. All the windows work. Back seats look mint. It comes with the cargo cover, which I have in storage to go across here to here to cover this all up, the Subaru EM one. Everything shuts nice, nothing weird. Yeah, they'll just let it hear the idle. No check engine lights, idle super mint. Has a little bit of piston slap at cold idle, or cold start I should say, which is a Subaru being a Subaru, but otherwise it has no major ticks or sounds. Air conditioning works, the heater blows. I guess one thing I will say is on the interior, there's a solenoid or something in the dash here which prevents the selector for the upper or lower or dash, however you want to have the fans blowing, to change. So you're kind of stuck with whatever it feels like doing, which is honestly most of the time just the top vents anyways. So it's not too bad, but in the winter it gets a little bit annoying because you can't defrost your window. So it's a part that I've been trying to track down and I cannot find on the internet anywhere. So unless someone knows in the video or comments and they can reply to me or help me out, but otherwise that's a problem there. We have a huge stack of documentation for the car from previous owners and myself. I tried to keep track of all of the major receipts and whatnot. Yeah, car runs I think about 15 pounds of boost. Dyno sheets here from a while ago show 253 wheel horsepower, which is understandable. It feels like it. I've had similar power Subarus in the past and that's what it made. Acceleration wise, or seemed to be a similar vibe. So yeah, undercarriage is super clean. There's no real squeaks or rattles besides the coils, which I said needs to be replaced at some point. But yeah, I tried to take good care of it. I really enjoyed this car. However, life happens and I gotta sell it now, unfortunately. It's gonna make me sad, but the car's awesome. Someone's honking at me, ruining my video. And that's that. Yeah, asking price will be in the description and in the Kijiji ad. I'm not sure exactly what I'm putting it up for, but I put it up for sale. So yeah, that's that. If there's any questions or anything like that, obviously get a hold of me. I'll try and answer them as good as I can. And any previous owners, if you want to buy it, let me know. I'll gladly sell it to the previous owner. This thing's awesome and you know what's up with it. So yeah, that's it. My 2006 Legacy GT. Thanks for watching. Talk to you later.